Humanity has always been regarded as the underdog in the vast galactic arena. After first contact with alien species, Earth quickly realized that, compared to the advanced civilizations dominating the galaxy, they were technologically far behind. The more established powers had fleets that spanned star systems, weapons capable of destroying entire planets, and faster-than-light technology that put Earth's ships to shame. In the eyes of these advanced civilizations, humanity was nothing more than a primitive species dabbling in technology it barely understood. The galactic community, composed of countless alien empires and coalitions, largely ignored Earth. Except for one, the Zarth Alliance. The Zarth Alliance was a powerful coalition of highly advanced species, known for their control over vast stretches of space and their military dominance. Their fleets were unmatched in size and firepower, and they had crushed many civilizations that had dared to challenge them. To the Zarth, Earth was little more than a backwater planet with no meaningful military or political influence. They didn't just ignore humanity, they openly mocked them. For years, the Zarth Alliance ridiculed Earth's military. They would broadcast messages throughout the galaxy, laughing at humanity's outdated ships, calling them relics from a bygone era. To the Zarth, Earth's military vessels were little more than flying junkyards, incapable of standing against even the weakest ships in the Alliance's fleet. Human ships were slow, their weapons were ineffective, and their shields, if they could be called that, were laughably weak. The Zarth commanders were especially condescending. They saw Earth as an easy target, a civilization that could be conquered in a matter of hours if they ever chose to do so. They made no secret of their disdain, often broadcasting their views for the entire galactic community to hear. "Humanity's fleet is an insult to spacefaring species," one commander once proclaimed. "If they dare to step beyond their tiny corner of space, we'll crush them like the insects they are." This constant mockery fueled a growing tension. Diplomats from Earth attempted to negotiate and maintain peace, but the Zarth Alliance never took them seriously. They saw Earth's efforts at diplomacy as a sign of weakness, further proof that humanity was not fit to be part of the galactic stage. For a time, it seemed as though the Zarth's bullying would remain nothing more than a nuisance. But all that changed after a series of incidents escalated tensions to a breaking point. A small fleet of human exploratory vessels had accidentally entered Zarth-controlled space. While Earth's government quickly sent an apology, the Zarth saw this as the perfect opportunity to put humanity in its place. They viewed the incident as a deliberate provocation, even though it was clear that it was nothing more than a navigational error. The Zarth Alliance demanded reparations, unreasonable ones, of course, and when Earth refused to comply, they decided it was time to send a message. Rather than engage in diplomacy, the Zarth Alliance opted for violence. They wanted to make an example out of humanity, to show the rest of the galaxy what happened when a lesser species dared to challenge their authority. A massive fleet of Zarth warships was mobilized, all set on a course for Earth. The Zarth commanders were confident that this would be a swift and decisive strike. They believed they could obliterate Earth's entire fleet in a matter of minutes and force the planet into submission. The news of the Zarth fleet's approach spread quickly across the galaxy. Many believed that Earth was doomed. Analysts predicted that the human fleet wouldn't last more than a few moments in the face of the Zarth's overwhelming firepower. The Zarth themselves openly mocked the situation, calling the upcoming battle a formality. They boasted about how easy it would be to wipe out Earth's defenses and bring the planet under their control. What the Zarth didn't know, however, was that humanity had been preparing for this moment for years. Behind the scenes, Earth's top engineers and scientists had been working on something that would change the course of the battle, a secret weapon hidden deep within a covert shipyard, far from the prying eyes of the galaxy. This project was known only to a few within the highest levels of Earth's military and government, and it represented humanity's last hope in the face of annihilation. The project's name was the Last Dreadnought. While Earth's fleet might have been outdated and weaker than the ships of the Zarth Alliance, this dreadnought was something entirely different. It was a massive vessel, unlike anything humanity had ever built before. Equipped with cutting-edge experimental technology, the dreadnought was designed to be faster, stronger, and more resilient than any other ship in Earth's arsenal. It had been built in secret, away from the watchful eyes of the Zarth and the galactic community, with one purpose: to defend Earth when no other option remained. The last Dreadnought was more than just a ship. It was a statement. Humanity had not been idle while the galaxy mocked them. They had learned from the mistakes of other civilizations, quietly developing technology that could rival even the most advanced species. The Dreadnought was outfitted with a new type of energy weapon, one capable of cutting through the shields of enemy ships with ease. Its hull was reinforced with materials far stronger than anything the Zarth had encountered, and its shielding systems were generations ahead of what anyone expected from Earth. As the Zarth fleet neared Earth, the Dreadnought was brought online. The ship's commander, one of the most skilled tacticians in Earth's fleet, took the helm. The crew was briefed on the situation. They knew that the Zarth outnumbered them, and that the rest of Earth's fleet was not strong enough to repel the invaders. The Dreadnought was Earth's last chance, and it would either be the weapon that saved humanity, or the final desperate act of a doomed civilization. The Zarth had no idea what awaited them. As they prepared for what they thought would be a quick and easy victory, the Dreadnought launched into space, ready to meet the invaders head-on. Humanity had been underestimated for too long, and now, the time had come to show the galaxy that Earth was not as weak as they had been led to believe. The Zarth were expecting an easy conquest. What they got instead was a battle that would change the course of galactic history. The last Dreadnought, humanity's greatest achievement, was about to show the galaxy what it was capable of. The days of mocking human ships were over. The Zarth fleet was unlike anything Earth had ever seen. Hundreds of warships, battlecruisers, and sleek fighters moved in perfect formation as they sped toward Earth, their collective might casting a shadow over the planet's defenses. To the Zarth commanders, this was nothing more than a routine exercise, a show of overwhelming force meant to teach humanity its place in the galaxy. They expected no real challenge, just another effortless victory in their long list of conquests. As the fleet drew closer, the Zarth commanders made no attempt to hide their contempt. They broadcasted messages across the galactic network, mocking humanity's outdated ships and their futile attempts to resist. The humans, they laughed, still fight with relics of a forgotten era, ships so old they belong in a museum, not in space. Their confidence was unshakable. To them, this wasn't a battle. It was a public humiliation of a species they had always considered beneath them. For the Zarth, the plan was simple: overwhelm Earth's defenses, destroy their fleet, and force the planet into surrender. As far as they were concerned, Earth was defenseless. No one in the galaxy thought differently. Even Earth's allies, few as they were, doubted humanity's ability to hold off such a powerful armada. The Zarth had the numbers, the firepower, and the technological edge. Everything was in their favor. But Earth was far from unprepared. The human fleet, though smaller and less advanced, was assembled and ready to meet the invaders. Earth's commanders knew they were outmatched, but they also knew that surrender wasn't an option. Their ships, though aging and underpowered compared to the Zarth warships, were manned by some of the most dedicated officers in the galaxy. These soldiers had trained for years, preparing for the day when they would face a threat of this magnitude. They knew their chances of survival were slim, but they were determined to put up a fight. Across Earth, civilians watched in fear as the Zarth fleet grew nearer. The galactic broadcasts only made things worse, as the alien commanders boasted about their impending victory, claiming that they would wipe out Earth's defenses in minutes. But within the highest ranks of Earth's leadership, a different kind of conversation was happening. Earth had a plan, one that the Zarth had no knowledge of. For years, Earth's scientists had been developing a secret weapon, something that would level the playing field. It was a gamble, an experimental ship unlike anything humanity had ever built. This vessel was the last Dreadnought, and it had been constructed in total secrecy. Hidden away in a concealed shipyard far from prying eyes, the Dreadnought had never been revealed to the galactic community, not even to Earth's own allies. It was Earth's last hope, their ace in the hole against the overwhelming power of the Zarth alliance. As the alien fleet approached, Earth's leadership made the decision to deploy the Dreadnought. The order was given, and the ship's crew, handpicked from the best Earth had to offer, were called into action. The Dreadnought, massive and imposing, began its slow ascent from its hidden base. Its hull was lined with cutting-edge weaponry, and its shield systems were far more advanced than anything Earth's traditional ships could manage. Only a few knew the full extent of the Dreadnought's capabilities, and even they weren't entirely certain of its power in live combat. This was uncharted territory. As the last Dreadnought rose into orbit, its presence was felt immediately. Earth's own fleet, battle-worn and outdated, watched in awe as the massive vessel took its place at the forefront of the defense. The ship dwarfed anything humanity had previously built. It was a statement, a symbol that Earth wasn't willing to go down without a fight. Its mere existence sent a wave of uncertainty through both human and alien ranks. The Zarth, however, remained unfazed. From their perspective, this dreadnought was nothing more than a final act of desperation. They had encountered many civilizations that had tried similar tactics, unveiling a so-called superweapon in a last-ditch effort to avoid annihilation. In every case, the Zarth had emerged victorious. To them, this dreadnought would be no different. A single ship cannot change the outcome, one Zarth commander scoffed. We will tear it apart like the rest of their fleet. As the dreadnought took its place, the Zarth fleet continued its advance, their confidence unshaken. The human fleet, smaller and weaker, was lined up to defend Earth, but it was clear that they couldn't hold the line for long. The rest of the galaxy watched, some out of curiosity, others out of pity. No one believed Earth could stand against the full might of the Zarth alliance. The galaxy had seen this scenario play out many times before, and it had always ended the same way, with the annihilation of the weaker species. The dreadnought, however, was unlike anything the Zarth had faced. As the battle drew nearer, Earth's leadership placed all their hopes in this ship. It wasn't just a weapon, it was a symbol of humanity's resilience and ingenuity. But even among Earth's own forces, there were doubts. The crew of the dreadnought had trained extensively, but this was the first time the ship would be tested in live combat. No one knew how it would perform under the pressure of an actual battle. Despite the uncertainty, Earth's leaders knew they had no choice. The Zarth were on the verge of launching their assault, and the dreadnought was their only chance of turning the tide. The ship's advanced technology had been kept classified, known only to the highest-ranking officials. But now, its capabilities would be revealed to the galaxy. The dreadnought was equipped with experimental weapons and defense systems far beyond what the Zarth were expecting. It was designed not just to withstand their attacks, but to counter them with precision and overwhelming force. Its main weapon, a new type of energy cannon, had the potential to destroy even the largest of Zarth battlecruisers in a single shot. But the question remained, would it be enough? As the Zarth fleet moved into range, the commanders continued to mock the dreadnought. They dismissed it as nothing more than an oversized target, a desperate attempt by humanity to delay the inevitable. They were so confident in their superiority that they didn't even consider the possibility of failure. To them, this was just another insignificant skirmish, a brief encounter before they claimed their victory. But the crew of the last dreadnought knew better. They understood the stakes. They were about to engage in a battle that would determine the fate of their entire species. The tension was palpable as the human fleet prepared to engage the Zarth armada. Every officer, every soldier, every pilot knew that the odds were against them. But they also knew that, for the first time, humanity had a weapon that could change the course of the battle. The stage was set. Earth's fleet, though outnumbered, was ready. The last dreadnought stood as the centerpiece of humanity's defense, its massive hull gleaming as it faced down the alien invaders. The Zarth were still confident, but their arrogance would soon be their undoing. The battle began just as everyone had expected, with a massive exchange of fire. The Zarth alliance, true to their reputation, unleashed the full might of their warships, bombarding Earth's smaller fleet with a barrage of energy blasts and missiles. The sky above Earth lit up with the furious glow of destruction as one by one, human ships crumbled under the relentless assault. The opening salvo was brutal. Earth's outdated vessels struggled to withstand the sheer power of the Zarth's superior firepower. The Zarkoth commanders, watching from the safety of their flagships, grinned with satisfaction as they saw Earth's ships fall apart. They had anticipated a quick and decisive victory, and so far, the battle was going exactly as planned. Humanity's defenses, weak as they were, could not hold up against the firepower of the mighty Zarkoth fleet. Every hit from the alien warships sent shockwaves through the human fleet, and in those first few moments, it seemed as though Earth was doomed. The Zarkoth's arrogance only grew as they continued their assault. Their commanders laughed as human ships, overwhelmed by the barrage, exploded into nothingness. "This is too easy," one of the alien admirals remarked, confident that the battle would be over within minutes. The rest of the Zarkoth fleet shared the same smug attitude, certain that the humans had nothing left to offer. To them, Earth's forces were simply collapsing, outclassed and outgunned. Their victory was inevitable, or so they thought. But amidst the chaos, something unexpected happened. The last dreadnought, which had been holding back, waiting for the right moment, finally engaged. At first, it seemed to move slowly, its massive frame cutting through the void with deliberate purpose. The Zarkoth commanders barely took notice. It was just one ship, after all, and while larger than the others, it didn't appear to be anything special. They mocked its size, laughing that such a lumbering vessel could pose any real threat to their fleet. That laughter stopped the moment the dreadnought fired its main weapon. The first shot was unlike anything the Zarkoth had ever seen. A colossal energy beam shot out from the dreadnought's forward cannon, striking one of the largest Zarkoth battlecruisers directly in its center. There was no time for the battlecruiser to evade, no time to raise additional shields. In an instant, the alien ship was vaporized, reduced to nothing more than particles in the cold expanse of space. The Zarkoth were stunned. They had never seen technology like this before. The battlecruiser, one of their most powerful ships, had been obliterated in a single shot. The dreadnought pressed forward, its main cannon charging for another devastating strike. For the first time, the Zarkoth commanders realized they were up against something far more advanced than they had anticipated. Humanity, long mocked for its outdated ships, had developed a weapon that rivaled their own technology, and possibly surpassed it. As the dreadnought continued its assault, it became clear that this was no ordinary human vessel. Its advanced shields deflected the incoming fire from the Zarkoth warships with ease, absorbing energy blasts that would have torn through any other human ship. No matter how much firepower the Zarkoth threw at it, the dreadnought seemed unstoppable. With every volley it unleashed, another Zarkoth ship was destroyed, its hull shredded by the dreadnought's experimental energy weapons. Panic began to set in among the Zarkoth fleet. Their once unshakable confidence crumbled as they watched ship after ship fall to the dreadnought's onslaught. What had started as a one-sided massacre in favor of the Zarkoth was quickly turning into a disaster. The dreadnought moved with a precision and agility that belied its size, weaving through the battlefield and dodging incoming attacks with surprising ease. It was not the slow, lumbering ship they had assumed it to be. It was a weapon of destruction, and it was systematically dismantling their fleet. Desperation spread through the Zarkoth ranks as they scrambled to regroup. Their commanders, once so sure of victory, were now shouting orders in a frantic attempt to regain control. But it was too late. The dreadnought was relentless, and the destruction it left in its wake was absolute. Zarkoth warships, once the pride of their fleet, were reduced to twisted wreckage floating in space. The human dreadnought had single-handedly turned the tide of the battle, and the Zarkoth knew it. As the battle wore on, the remaining Zarkoth forces tried to mount a counterattack. They launched waves of fighters and bombers, hoping to overwhelm the dreadnought through sheer numbers. But their efforts were in vain. The dreadnought's advanced systems easily picked off the incoming ships, its defensive capabilities far beyond anything the Zarkoth had anticipated. The alien commanders, watching from their flagships, were forced to accept the bitter reality: they were losing. The Zarkoth, once so proud, had never faced such a defeat. They had always been the ones to overpower their enemies, to crush civilizations beneath the weight of their superior technology. But now, they found themselves on the other side. A single human ship had done the unthinkable, destroying their fleet, breaking their lines, and turning their arrogance into ashes. The battle had been theirs to win, and now it was slipping through their fingers. In their final moments of desperation, the remaining Zarth commanders ordered a full retreat. Their fleet, or what was left of it, began to fall back, their once imposing armada reduced to a scattering of fleeing ships. But the Dreadnought wasn't done. It continued to pursue, firing shot after shot, each one landing with devastating accuracy. The Zarth warships couldn't escape fast enough. The Dreadnought was relentless, and for every ship that managed to flee, 2 more were destroyed. What had begun as a show of force by the Zarth alliance had ended in humiliation. The galaxy had watched as their mighty fleet, once considered invincible, was obliterated by a single human dreadnought. Their arrogance, their mockery, had cost them dearly, and now the Zarth were retreating in defeat. The human dreadnought, victorious and undamaged, stood as a testament to Earth's newfound power. For the Zarth, the battle had been a lesson in hubris. They had underestimated humanity, and they had paid the price. What they had seen as a weak, insignificant species had proven to be far more dangerous than they ever imagined. The last dreadnought had changed the course of the battle, and with it, the course of galactic history. The battle was over. What remained of the once mighty Zarth fleet had fled the battlefield, retreating in disgrace. The commanders, who had been so sure of their victory, now found themselves faced with a bitter reality. They had miscalculated. They had underestimated the humans, assuming that Earth was a mere blip on the galactic stage, easy to crush underfoot. Now they were forced to confront the truth. They had gambled their reputation on an easy victory, only to be humiliated by a single ship. As the last of the Zarth vessels disappeared into the far reaches of space, the battlefield stood eerily quiet. The Dreadnought, still unscathed and dominant, hovered in silence, a stark reminder of the power humanity had kept hidden for so long. The ship hadn't just survived the battle, it had dominated it, systematically dismantling the Zarth armada. Now, with the enemy in full retreat, the Dreadnought became the symbol of a new era, one where humanity could no longer be ignored or dismissed.